Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new camp build. So today we're going to use one of the new car pieces that is currently on the Atomic Shop as the centerpiece of an auto shop type build, a mechanic shop. So let's jump in. Okay, so yeah, there's a couple of car-themed bits and pieces on the Atomic Shop at the moment, and some of them are pretty cool. We've got a cool new workbench on there, but that is a little bit situational. It would have worked here mostly, but probably nowhere else, IMO. But there's also a couple of other bits, specifically the car we're going to use here, that is a bit more generalised, so yeah, I thought we'd make it the centrepiece of a build. So looking at where we are here, you can see we are down in the ash heap. There's Welsh. So if you go head out west from Welsh, then you drop very rapidly downhill to another road, which is right where we are, right by that road. So just outside the town, really. And I wanted somewhere beside a road where the ground was just a little bit down from the surface of the road so that I could have the surface of the camp level with the road. Basically, so it looks like you can drive a car in there. And it took a while to find somewhere, but this spot worked out. I actually quite like the look of this place. It's not huge, but we can definitely do some work with this. I might be coming back here. So, for this foundation, in spite of what I've done here, you need a 4x3 foundation. I know I've got the back corner cut off there, but I am going to be basically filling that in later on in the build and during the decoration. But we're going to get some walls in, run these all the way around the outside first. We'll jump on, because it's kind of repetitive. So there we go, walls in, and we'll stick a staircase in over on this side. Going to use the log cabin one because I can actually kind of blend that in quite well, as it turns out. In fact, it turned out to be the starting point for some quite nice decoration for what will be the sort of bed-sit flat type thing for the owner, I guess. I'm quite happy with that spot in particular. Out of all of the build, I really like that bit the best. But we'll see that in a bit. So, moving on to some internal walls. We're going to use contemporary pieces and double-side these, as we can then have wallpaper on both sides, so have to use the doorways for that. Try not to delete them. And then we'll swap it out for the ordinary walls that we're going to use here. So through the course of this build, I've swapped all of these door frames out for either regular walls, which is fine, or for the brick doorways. And for the external ones, that's fine. For the internal ones, I actually came back and changed it to contemporary ones, because I felt the door frame kind of worked a little better for internal doors. I just like the look a bit more, so I'll come back and change that later, but you can basically use whatever you like once you've got them in. So there we go, roll the door on the front for the garage, and this section here is going to be kind of a hall, entrance hall, stairwell and office area down here. It's going to get divided off in a bit. But upstairs, what will be our little flat area, we're going to put some floors in, extend this over the back where we don't have any foundations currently, but I will be adding more later. Change it out for the light wood laminate flooring. This does reappear on the Atomic Shop on occasion, it's worth keeping an eye out. It's basically the closest fit to any of the stair skins, I suppose, that we have. You sort of squint, you kind of pretend that they actually match. It's about as close as we're going to get, and the end result definitely works, especially once I've got the furniture in, so. We've got some of these half walls in. Sort of the back section here, and in fact, the back 2/3 of the apartment there is actually going to be replaced for full-sized walls later on during the decoration phase, because I needed a bathroom up there, and full-size walls basically worked a little better. So you can see I've put a couple of foundations in down below there. I took this wall out because I couldn't get that one in the right way round with the wall underneath it, but soon get that sorted. This bottom area underneath the overhang, I will put foundations in. Where the door is there at the back, there will be a single foundation little bathroom. It's going to be like an employee and customer bathroom. So it'll be basic, but it's going to go there. And then this nearest back corner there will be a sort of outside space that I'll have my collectron in. But we'll have a look at that in the tour in a bit. We change those two walls out for windowed versions, and it makes a massive impact to breaking up the front surface, so it looks quite cool, I think. Using the new roof set from the abandoned mine building set that we've hashtag recently dropped on the Atomic Shop. Basically because I felt the corrugated metal looked a little bit better than some of the other options available with this build. And yeah, came out quite nicely. As I say, this kind of back 2/3 is going to require replacing for full-size walls, because we'll need the headroom for putting in, well, the bathroom, in short. So it's kind of coming together here. I'm going to divide this lower section off here under the stairs, and we'll put a double wall in here again. Unfortunately, because of the stairs that I'm using, it's kind of awkward to do. So what we're going to have to do is take the floor off above, and then put the doors in, but starting with the side nearest to the staircase first. So the inside, and then go to the outside ones. Otherwise, they won't snap like that. So build order. But once you've got it the right way around, they'll go in just like this, and you can change them out for whatever you like. And once again, I will change it back later for the different door frame, for this door frame, in fact. But for now, that's how we change it. Nice. So we'll put those floors back in. Nearly there now on the core build. There we go. Nice. And that pretty much puts the structure together. As I say, we're going to need an extra foundation or two down here and a couple of extra walls, but on the whole, nice and simple. So, let's grab the car and stick that in the garage, and then it'll be about time for me to head off, decorate, and we'll take a look around the finished tour. Simple structure, for the most part, but a pretty cool result, IMO. Okay then, so finished tour time, and I'm rather pleased with how this came out. So one of the things I wanted to do here was try and avoid have this building looking too kind of on its own, too lonely on the side of the road here. So I did want to have a building kind of here on the right, which I could have done. I've got about a third of the build budget left, so I could possibly have done something there. But as you can sort of see here, the ground falls away very rapidly there, so there's not too much in the way of space, really. And having a little space to put some crops at the back there is also helpful. It's nice to have the radioactive barrels and stuff there as well, because I've not had the occasion to use those, and they blend into the environment quite nicely, which can be an issue sometimes. It works there. So yeah, I think it looks alright. You can see at the top there where I've extended the walls up as well, replaced the short walls for the full-size ones so that I could get the bathroom on the back corner. Breaks up the shape a little bit as well, which is always good. So, we've got the Nuka-Cola billboard there, that's from the current season. That, along with the streetlights and stuff, are all part of my efforts to make this not look too lonely and on its own, which is occasionally a bit challenging, but it's come out alright, I think. I don't think it looks too out of place. The shipping container on the end was initially part of that grand make it not look too lonely plan as well, but it actually turned out to be quite a win, as the internal space of it was useful in the end. So I've got a few bits and pieces of scrappiness going on around it, which kind of make it look like the building's been here a while. We'll pan our way around there. It's the big spool there, which it can be hard to figure out where that's going to fit in a build, but it was quite nice to drop it into that little dip in the ground there and break up the shape a little bit, make it a little less square. So coming around the back here, we've got that massive crane hanging over the skyline, which is quite cool. You can actually build up against that thing, so I might have to do that sometime. On the back of the build here, it's a little flat on the back, but let's be honest, we're not really going to be looking at that a great deal. You can see where I extended the under the overhang there, and I've got a couple of solar panels out back. There's my shelter entrance in case I need it. Kind of wish I could only open the one side on this, but we'll ignore the clipping, because, yeah. The shipping container, I've got the brewing stations and the chemistry station at the end there as well, and a few other bits of junk in here, so I figured they've put the crafting stations in here for the stuff that they don't want to do in the house, and just shoved other junk in there as well. And the gates just sort of improvised on there to stop wasteland creatures getting in, because unfortunately we don't have doors for these things, which is a bit strange. You can kind of work around that, which I have done in previous videos, but in this particular spot, it needed to be the gate. Basically the thing sinks into the ground a bit, which is causing problems. As regards other options. So, shall we head on inside? I did want to dress up the front surface around where the door is a little bit more than I have done, but I figured any vehicles going by will probably rip off anything that sticks out over the road, so flat-fronted it is. Here is our little garage. So you can kind of go with various headcanons for this if you wanted. You could say it's somebody's home and garage and they're working on repairing the car, which is kind of like the last sort of modern house I did. Or you can go a bit more towards the Wilson Brothers Auto Repair, which is actually what I kind of used as inspiration, along with actually a mechanic shop that's not that far from where I live. A little bit in terms of the decoration. A little bit. And you can go either way with it, as I say. I'm going with a mechanic shop vibe and the car belongs to a customer. So yeah, got some work surfaces, places to drop your tools. Got the major workbenches inside at the back there. Plenty of room with 3 foundations here to get around the car, which is nice. It does fit on 2 foundations, but there's not a lot of room left after that. And we've got the power armor station at the back there too. The idea is that if you turn the car around, you can use it to lift the engine out. So, kind of looks like it belongs. So, the extra room I mentioned under the overhang is the little bathroom here. This is just a staff when they're at work and customers if they need to use it bathroom. So it's pretty basic, but it'll do the job. See down here we've got our scrap box and other essentials. That poster on the wall there kind of dresses things up, a whole bunch of them. The one that's clipping was not originally clipping, but once again, when I reloaded, it just decided to clip on the, you know, the reloading of the camp, which is a bit annoying. So in here, we have a little office space. This is basically the main corridor that runs from the front door to this door into the garage here. I've actually taken that door off subsequently because I felt that having it sort of open worked a little better. It made it feel like an annex to the garage rather than part of the rest of the build, which is what I really wanted it to feel like. But yeah, it's kind of inspired a little bit by the one at the Red Rocket truck stock in Fallout 4. And it's somewhere for the owner to come and do their paperwork and take payment and stuff. And I've actually put a little market sign in there so people can find my vendor on the desk there if they need to. It blends in a little bit, so it'll be easy to miss. So, through this door here, we have what is basically the living space. So, we have here basically a few extra bits and pieces tucked underneath because this is otherwise dead space. And you'll see why the washer and dryer are down here when we head upstairs. There really isn't room for it. So, looking out the back here, with the last square of foundation under the overhang here. I put my little collectron in here and the ammo machine as well. Kind of regretting my decision to go for the dog there because he won't shut up. And he also collects some stuff that I don't want sometimes, which is a bit weird, but what can you do? I went for that for a change. And yeah, it's somewhat dead space. I thought I'd do what I could with fitting a few bits and pieces in here and dressing it up. But we'll head on upstairs to the interesting living space. So as we look up here, you can see where I've lifted the walls at the back here. Basically just fit this bathroom in front of us in, because otherwise you'd have to kind of try and double-side half-height walls, and it's all a bit awkward. You see the middle one on the far side there is a half-size wall, whereas behind us is actually a full-size one. So we've got varying heights and angles, which makes the whole thing kind of more interesting, and I'm quite happy with. Really like how this space has come out. The wallpaper is the new wooden panelling one from the current season, Season 11. And we've got a few other bits and pieces. One of my standard kitchens. The cooking station didn't go in quite the way I wanted it to here. I couldn't move it any further right, and if I move it any further left, it won't be usable. So that was not quite what I wanted, but you get the idea. Looks alright. That's the rest of it. I'm really happy with how it came together. I do wish the roof could have been wallpapered in some way or was smooth rather than sort of showing the rafters, but I mean, I can still kind of live with that. I like the table, stops you sort of falling down the stairs whilst also working as a table. Right, we'll have a little look at our sitting area here. This is really quite a clean build, so it's nice to use a few clean bits of furniture once in a while, which is kind of cool. Like that stash box and the sofa behind us. This rug, incidentally, that we're standing on is available on Twitch at the moment, Twitch Prime thing. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you can link your accounts and grab that little bundle for free. And as always with these things, if you don't have Amazon Prime, get a free trial, and you get it for effectively even more free than the people who already have Prime. So yeah, it's a clean version of one of the other rugs. It's only a small bundle that's part of, but hey, it's extra building stuff, isn't it? So yeah, lots and lots of stuff on decoration here. Really happy with how this has come out. It's quite nice. And we'll have a little look at the bathroom here. Kind of had to pick and choose a bit on the internal doors to find ones that would open the right way so they didn't block the furniture. That shower was kind of a nightmare to get in. It kept jumping either too far forward or too far back, and in this case I felt like I'd live with it clipping into the wall on the right there, because it looked like it works. Looks like it's almost like it's meant to do that. The alternative was it being a right pain in the neck, and yeah, it was a bit frustrating that. Sometimes it works absolutely fine and it'll be nice and cooperative, other times it just doesn't. So we've got these walls single-sided here, which I might have been able to double-side on reflection, but in this case it looks pretty cool, and the contemporary set with a kind of blue wood there works as a bathroom wall as well, I think. So I do it that way around on occasion. Yeah. All in all, I really like this living space. Contrast between the dark wood on the walls and the light wood on the floor could have been a problem, but it's worked out quite nicely, I think. Using the Wildwood Tavern set of wallpapers downstairs, sort of, it continues the vibe from upstairs, but it's just a little bit different, which I like as well. Otherwise, I think it'd be a bit overbearing. As we can see, the usual issue with the door when you're trying to do this sort of thing blind. But we'll get there in the end. We'll pan back around. I quite like that I've used the Vault-Tec flooring in here. That little tile floor works nicely for the hallway. And it contrasts with the sort of carpeted or laminate flooring in the living space and the bare stone, which is in the workspace of the garage through here. As I say, it's definitely better without this door on there, so if you want to see it in a bit more of a slower format, I suppose, and sort of have a discussion about this in more detail, do drop in on the live stream, because yeah, we'll be hanging out here for a bit, so keep an eye out this week. One other cool fact, this car, they've managed to capture that vibe of that sort of design of car really well for the Fallout TV show. If you've seen any of the shots from the set of that, the set design looks absolutely incredible. And rumour has it they've just wrapped up filming on the first season of that, which would be very cool if true, because it would mean it's on track for release later this year. Looking forward to seeing that. Definitely going to be talking about that as when we get more news. But there we go. One little mechanic auto repair shop type deal with living space bed sit thing going on as well for the owner. So, hope you folks enjoyed this one. If you did, please do drop likes and subs and all that good stuff. I very much appreciate it. Social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all that stuff down below as well if you want to check those out in the description. And notification bell to keep up with all the updates and videos and all that good stuff. And as I say, do join us for live streams. We're playing Fallout 76 and Red Dead 2 at the minute, which has been really good fun, so I hope you'll join us for those. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.